channel. It is the second day of the lockdown, coronavirus lockdown. Do we call it coronavirus lockdown? Yeah, the COVID-19 lockdown. And yeah, it's a very gloomy day. I love it, all cloudy, it's all covered, and it looks like it's gonna rain because it did rain last night, so I love it. It's beautiful. I'm sitting next to the window so I can sort of see everything. So if I do look up for a bit there, excuse me, because yeah, it's so blue. Not blue, but like, it's, I don't know. It's not sunny, but it's really nice outside. It is a bit cold, so please be warm. If you do hear footsteps in the background, everybody's home, guys. So I don't live alone. My my very small, rather, in years son is here, so he is going to be maybe a bit rowdy, but yeah, we push on, we go on, guys, we push on. Anyway, yeah, so this is a video about what I am currently reading. I think I shared this in the last video that I made. I did show a bit of what I'll be reading. So yeah, I am reading Basetsana's book, Bassie, My Journey to Hope. Basetsana Kumalo. It's memoir. So yeah, okay, firstly, what I will say that I love about this book is the cover. I mean, the effort is glorious, honey. Yes. Representing 4C, baby. Yeah. So the effort is glorious. We love it. The makeup is nice and natural. We love it. It's not too much. The white shirt is very like vintage, old school. You see, man, this is your favorite auntie. You just love smiling, and she happens to be known by very, very important people. I mean, mind you, she was really young here. I think she was in her early 20s, if not 18. But yeah, she was just like in varsity. So yeah, another thing that I do love about the book is that she has pictures in between the chapters. I think this is one when she was, no, this is Miss Northern Transvaal. This is the competition that led her to winning. So when she won Miss Northern Transvaal, then she could get into Miss South Africa. And Miss Northern Transvaal, if I'm not mistaken, was Limpopo. So it wasn't Gauteng. It was by the Limpopo areas, because that's where she also went to university. So yeah. So I love that it has pictures, This is when she won Miss South Africa. Look at the black lady winning. Yes, baby, yes. This is her and hubby. Sure, and these people know famous people, guys. And this is her, and okay, I feel like I'm showing you a photo album, but sorry guys, I did say that I'm sitting next to a window. Anywho, so yeah, guys, I'm thoroughly enjoying this book. I am not reading it as fast as I would have loved to read it, but I'm reading it nonetheless. But yeah, so far I am in the chapter of finding love. So this is where she talks about her and Romeo and how they started dating. Oh my gosh, it's so adorable. It's the cutest love story ever. But yeah, she says that they met when she started in broadcasting. And sorry, they met when she started working in broadcasting. He was a DJ, I think, at Metro FM. Or did he do music shows as well? But like, he was in broadcasting. Yeah, because she says here, I'd also seen Romeo presenting a music show called Ezimtoti with Caroline Fassi on CCTV before it became SABC1. So yeah, here she says, I would regularly bump into this guy called Romeo, whom I'd previously seen singing a song by Lionel Richie on a television show called Shell Road to Fame. So I guess it was a talent competition, and then that's how he ended up in broadcasting and presenting. So that's how, you know, that's like, that's when she got into top billing. That's when she started working in top billing. So I think that's how they met. So anywho, they would meet in the car. Like, apparently Romeo would like set it up. This, she found this out on their first date. Yeah, or as they were dating. But apparently Romeo would set it up that anytime she's in the building and like she's gonna walk past the corridor or whatever, he would be loitering around nearby. You know, that is so cute. He would be loitering about nearby because he was like, fam, I'm gonna get me some of that. Anywho, so yeah, so she met Romeo, I think, after a while. She had been dating Dingan Tobela, the boxer, who unfortunately was a woman beater because, you know, he was very abusive. That was a gender-based violence moment, and it was shocking to read that because I'm like, but like, is any woman exempt from gender-based violence, guys? Even if it's not from your boyfriend, but do women ever have a life where they don't experience any gender-based violence? Like, are men just that, you know? It would be amazing to meet a woman who says, no, I've never been abused by a man, sexually molested or whatever, you know, by anybody, because then it would mean at least there's a bit of hope. But like, is every woman just like, you know what, a man has looked at me sideways, I have been touched in a random way without my consent? But anyway, that's fine. So yeah, she dated Dingan for a while. Obviously that's a difficult situation to get out of and just be like, no, I'm done, I'm leaving you, because like that person says, you leave me by dying only, you know, you have to run away. Because she eventually had to run away to get away from him. Like, she didn't just get away. And she said that she'd even lie to the media. She would lie about how she got, like, the one time, I think the first time that he hit her, she said she got robbed. So, you know, women do always lie to protect the guy and to protect themselves, because you do feel embarrassed, and I don't know why you should feel embarrassed, you know. But yeah, women do, we lie to protect the guy. But anywho, it's fine. You know, thank God she got through that, and she didn't die. She lived to tell the tale. Here she is now. So, you know, yeah, they met, and then they went out for coffee with Dingan. I think he lived in Hyde Park and she was still in the apartment in Rosebank that she got with the Miss South Africa competition. So then they went out for coffee, and then, you know, that things went on from there. And then in the relationship, which is funny, she didn't want to get married. I think a year into the relationship, he was like, I want my uncles to come to your house, to your family's house. And then she was like, nah, fam, what are the uncles gonna do there? So she said no, basically. He proposed, she said no. And then I think Romeo waited another year, and then only he was like, then only she said, okay, that's fine. You know, the uncles can go. And then the uncles went. It was the whole lobola, and remember, so and it was cute. Buy the book, read the story. It's a lovely story. And here they are now, 3 kids later. So yeah, how did Basetsana become who she is? I love how she talks about her parents, how the parents raised her, rather raised them as siblings, because right now it would be child labor law issues, I am sure. But her parents were sort of like, they kept their kids busy, and they made their kids earn their keep. And on top of that, they instilled entrepreneurial life principles into their kids' lives, you know. So she spoke about how when she was like 5, she would want to go to school. I think back then there weren't any preschools for black kids, but when she was 5, she wanted to go to school with her mother. Her mother was a teacher, because her sisters were older and they were at school, so she was bored during the day. So I don't know, I think she stayed with an aunt or someone during the day. Then she would cry to her mother and say, no, I definitely want to go to school. So her mother would take her to a school with her. And then when she's there, as much as she would be learning and everything, during the breaks or whatever, she would go around selling lollipops. Like, she wouldn't play like normal kids. She'd be that tiny kid. So I like, when I think about it, I'm thinking about the small little girl hustling for lollipops. But anyway, for money for lollipops. But anyway, yeah, she said she'd be selling that. And then after school, she and her sisters would go around selling boiled eggs to the community. So anytime that they had to play, they only played in the yard as siblings. They never really like had friends. Like she said, her parents really discouraged friends, you know. So yeah, they like had a that close bond where they were in business together as sisters, and then they were also each other's friends, and then they were also each other's family. So I feel like their parents built an amazing bond amongst the siblings in general. Yeah, I think her parents built a really strong bond amongst the sisters in general. Where we stopped and saved when what? Okay, I don't know what just happened there. Anywho, so yeah, guys. What else did I want to mention about this book that I liked? I like that she spoke a lot about apartheid. You really got to see what happened during apartheid, how people survived during apartheid. I think it was her uncle who had her uncle from her mother's side or her father's side. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But her uncle he had a printing company, guys, printing company. And then I think when the Group Areas Act happened or whatever, whenever the government decided to move black people around, they moved him and his business died. They took all his printers that he got from the UK. They took all of that and they left him with just like, I think, the smaller printers. So then he couldn't print stuff anymore for businesses in the black community. He had to start afresh. Guys, apartheid government was the worst thing that could ever happen. The apartheid government was the worst thing that could ever happen to black people. The worst thing ever. So yeah, it was like the bits that she would share about apartheid was, you know, like even when she entered Miss South Africa, she spoke about the colorism that she experienced, you know, like I get it. I think you guys know we all had like stoops, the red stoops that we would frave and put cobra polish on, you know, the is it wax? The wax polish. Yeah, I get it, you know, almost you'd go on your knees and you would tassa die floor. Dude, like she says she had black knees because of that, and apparently she did experience a bit of colorism at the pageants when her mother would be putting her into pageants. A lot of people would like talk about those stuff. Like it's really interesting. Let me try and see if I can find the bit on colorism. Oh yeah, I was actually gonna say that I did go to the apartheid museum, the Gold Reef City, and entering into the museum, like when you get your ticket, it tells you who you enter as, whether you enter as a white person or a black person. And I think that experience alone, having the fact that you don't enter through the same door because your race is not, that was very like, I got emotional. But yeah, that's fine. So here she talks about colorism. Okay, okay, here she says, I'm gonna read like from this part. Let me just read from, okay. In the lead up to the Miss Soweto finals, some of the other participants voiced their discontent about allegations that I was in fact not black but colored. They wanted me disqualified on the basis that I didn't really live in Soweto and that I lied about my race. You can imagine how strange this news was for me and for my family, how uncomfortable we felt when the pageant promoters visited our home to meet my parents and verified that they were actually both black. They also interviewed me to make sure that I spoke one African languages. Through this experience, colorism made its way into my consciousness in a very real way. I had never once thought of myself as fair or light in complexion, but the other girls in the competition clearly felt that I was, and to them this represented an unfair advantage. Unfortunately, there was the status quo among black people. Having lighter skin was seen more as desirable than having dark skin. One could argue that this kind of thinking was brought about by the racial policies of the day. Young women who were born with light skin were often given nicknames like Pinky or Beauty. Well, I'm saying or Beauty. She just said Pinky. And there were even wedding songs that celebrated the fact that the bride looked like a colored person, you know? So, I mean, she did experience the brunt of colorism in South Africa that a lot of South Africans actually do not like admitting. So yeah, I mean, and Basetsana's not even that light, guys. Like, she's not, even to this day, she's not that light. You can see in the pictures, she's not that light. But clearly she was a bit on the fair side. Maybe she was like coffee color yama colored. You know, she looked more on the light side in terms of being colored, not, she seemed like a dark colored person and not a lighter black person. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think you get what I'm trying to say as a South African. So yeah, the book is really interesting. I hope I will finish it soon. Then I can maybe do a proper review. But the book has been amazing so far. I'm learning a lot. I learned a lot, especially about apartheid. So I do hope and pray that South Africa does not ever have to go back to that, or any country for that matter does not have to go back to a place where only one race rules, because that is really unfair and it hurts and it's painful to even think about. So, you know, I mean, the only bits of apartheid that we got, my generation got, was when we went to Model C schools and were called monkeys and teased about our skin color. You know, it's still apartheid, that still happens now. So, bruh. Yeah, guys, but anywho, thank you so much for watching my very long video. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.